Now let's take a look at your Friday football trends brought to you by OffshoreInsiders.com. Of course, Joe Duffy's Picks continues to roll big. Friday portfolio 145-90 entering Thanksgiving Day with all football picks going back to preseason. 4 college football Friday winners, quite possibly more by the time Friday comes along. Massive weekend portfolio, including the total of the year and the side selection on the Iron Bowl, a whole lot more at OffshoreInsiders.com. Western Michigan and Toledo, all records are ATS. Western Michigan 19-7 on the road. Toledo 15-5 after getting more than 200 yards rushing in their previous game. 38-17 following a straight-up win of more than 20 points. 3-9 at home against teams with a winning road record. Navy and Houston. Navy 7-1 after scoring less than 20 points in their previous game. 23-8 after accumulating more than 200 yards rushing in their last game. Houston is 3-10 inside the conference. Northern Illinois and Central Michigan. Northern Illinois 14-6 in the month of November. 34-15 on the road. Central Michigan is 2-6 their last 8 at home. Please, folks, if you like these videos, do exactly that. Like them, share, subscribe, comment, whatever the case is. This is being broadcast on a few different mediums, but make sure you give us all the support you can. And, of course, you're welcome to embed it on your website if you have a sports gambling website. It really helps us get exposure, and it gives us more and more. We'll have a free pick, by the way, on the Friday portfolio coming up. Miami and Pittsburgh. Miami is 7-1 after allowing less than 100 yards rushing in their previous contest. Again, all these records are against the spread. Pittsburgh 34-15 after accumulating more than 280 yards passing in their previous contest. Baylor versus Texas Christian. Baylor is 10-21 overall. They are 5-15 on grass. TCU 2-11 at home, 1-7 following a spread win. Ohio against Buffalo, the Bobcats 12-3 on Friday games, 10-2 on field turf. They've covered 11 out of 14 on the road. Buffalo is on a 9-3 overall run. Missouri versus Arkansas. Mizzou 7-0 against teams with a losing record. Arkansas 2-8 against teams with a winning record. They have dropped 6 straight following a spread victory. South Florida and Central Florida. South Florida 5-1 against teams with a winning record. They've dropped, though, 4 straight conference games. Central Florida 35-17 after allowing less than 20 points in their previous contest. New Mexico and San Diego State. New Mexico 8-23 after allowing more than 450 total yards in their previous game. 1-6 after accumulating more than 200 yards rushing in their last game. San Diego State 16-4 after allowing less than 100 yards rushing in their last game. They are 20-8 after accumulating more than 200 yards rushing in their previous game. It's Black Friday. DuffyGifts.com. Avoid the crowds. Get stuff much more inexpensively than you're going to get at any brick-and-mortar place. And it also shows your support for these videos and free picks. Visit DuffyGifts.com for all of your shopping needs, holiday needs. Texas State and Troy, the Bobcats, have dropped 6 straight on AstroTurf. The Trojans of Troy, 0-7 at home against teams with a losing road record. They have dropped 6 straight following a bye week. Iowa versus Nebraska. Iowa 6-14 after accumulating less than 275 yards in their previous contest. Nebraska 0-8-2 at home, 0-7-1 following a spread win. Western Kentucky and Florida International. Western Kentucky is 3-8 overall. FIU is 7-3 on field turf. Virginia Tech and Virginia, what is certainly a rivalry game. And by the way, as far as this is the weekend, a lot of people blindly bet double-digit dogs in rivalry games. We have proven on various videos we've done, and we've done the research. It is a myth. It is a myth. Do not blindly bet double-digit dogs, there's really no angle either way. In fact, essentially, from about 10 to 21 points, double-digit dogs in rivalry games are a decent play. Once it gets above 20, 21 points, the favorite generally covers. So essentially, there is no angle. Virginia Tech and Virginia. The Hokies are 3-10 after allowing more than 280 yards passing in their previous game. Virginia 2-7 after accumulating less than 100 yards rushing in their previous game. By the way, somebody would say, well, why would you give me something and you tell me there's no angle? I'm just trying to comment on what is a commonly held belief, going with, double-digit dogs and rivalry games throughout the point spread. A lot of people like to say, no, it is just not true. All right, Texas Tech versus Texas. The Red Raiders are 19-6 after scoring less than 20 points in their previous contest. Texas has dropped 4 straight Friday contest. California and UCLA. California is 8-18 on grass. Again, all records are against the spread. They are 12-29 following a straight-up loss. 4-10 following an ATS win. UCLA 4-9 overall. 2-11 following a spread win. Also, folks, we made a special arrangement with mybookie.ag. You can show your support for this free information. We would not recommend a book. I'm not going to personally recommend a book unless I've used them myself and my clients have given me positive feedback and the respected watchdogs have said it is definitely a sports book that you want to bet with. And universally agreed, mybookie.ag, one of the most honest sports books out there. They will pay you on time and in full, and that's very important if you're a client of offshoreinsiders.com. mybookie.ag, please use the promo code Duffy, D-U-F-F-Y. Now we got a free winning pick for Saturday, for Friday from Joe Duffy's Picks. Go with high-quality teams that are winning but not actually covering. 40-22. And, that's somewhat counterintuitive in the NBA. Although we backed off it a little bit where we have what we call the dichotomous straight up and ATS angle that says when a team is in opposite streaks, straight up and ATS, you continue to ride the ATS streak. We've kind of backed off that a little bit in recent years, but it's most effective in the NBA. But this, this actually says to go with teams that are winning and not covering. College football, as we said, is really the anomaly anyway. And the free winning pick is to go with South Florida plus the 10 against Central Florida. South Florida plus the 10 against Central Florida. So, yeah, again, one of these where, as I said, if there is a slight angle, usually from anywhere from about a 10 to a 21-point favorite, rivalry underdogs are actually fairly decent plays. But I just think, look, South Florida has underachieved a little bit this year. They had the dark horse quarterback candidate who hasn't really lived up to expectations. But, the one thing about these rivalry games, teams that underachieve, they really have something to rally around. They get to play the spoiler. So this is where a rivalry underdog is actually a good play. When you have the underdog is underachieved this year and they have the ideal chance to play the spoiler. Because if Central Florida wins here, all of a sudden they got to be involved in the national conversation. But they're playing a quality team. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose this game outright. I'd look at South Florida on the money line. South Florida is your free pick from offshoreinsiders.com. Visit offshoreinsiders.com for all your winning picks.